see some of you have done a bit of development prior, product development, software development. We have writers here. We have a good mix of skills and experience, which is all very transferable. These are skills that are very important. We have accountants here. All those domain knowledge are very critical. So every one of you, you're definitely going to be bringing value to this industry, to ensuring quality. At the end of the day, as a software tester, your main role is to ensure quality. And I can assure you that all the skills, all your experience so far are going to be very important and crucial to your success, right? So just to talk about the structure of this training. So we have 6 chapters to cover in the ISTQB syllabus, pretty much. And again, I want to encourage everybody, please pay attention in this class. There are very important information that would be passed on throughout the course of this session. And it's important that you take notes, you go over the class, you work on the class assessment, assignment. There will be some in groups, there will be individual assessment as well. And then it's important that you give it your all. So the 6 chapters you can see here pretty much. The first chapter, we will be covering the fundamentals of testing, where we will go through a couple of things. What is software testing, why it's important, the psychology of testing, the test process, all of those things will be discussed. The second chapter will talk about testing throughout the software development lifecycle. So we will discuss several development lifecycle, and how testing is performed in this context. We would also discuss static testing, which is a type of testing that does not require execution of your application or your code. So we would also talk about the different testing techniques. We will talk about test management, and then we would conclude the chapter with reviewing the tools support for testing. So all these chapters have been tailored to really teach you all the fundamentals, to the techniques, the important concept that you need to know as a tester. And again, you'll be having some individual and group assessment to work through during the day, and you'll be presenting your assessment. So because we've got a couple of minutes before we go on break and we convene, I think at 2 p.m. As I've mentioned, the first chapter is what we'll focus on today, and it's on fundamental of testing. So again, for this class, we will be collaborating. It's important that you are in tune in this class. It's not going to be me just spilling information. We would have a discussion, a genuine discussion about the concept I'll be talking about. So it's important that you pay attention. So what are the learning objectives for fundamentals of testing? So in this chapter, I will be talking about what software testing is. We will describe and discuss why testing is important and necessary. We will talk about the principles of software testing. We will talk about the test processes and the psychology of testing. So those are the learning objectives for this chapter. So what is software testing? Has anybody heard of this word before? What do you understand by software testing? Anybody? Does anybody want to try? There's no wrong answer, just try. So let's discuss, guys. We need to, yeah, Abdul Malik. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so I understand software testing to be the verification and validation of software products to ensure they meet with the requirements. That is the initial
Mm,
purpose of what it was created.
absolutely. You're spot on. Thank you. Thank you for that. Who wants to add to that? Daisy.
Um,
Daisy.
software testing. Hello.
Yeah, go on.
Software testing is the process of testing an application to find out if there is any bugs or any error.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Zuka. Zuka.
I think software testing is a process that ensures a product performs as it is intended, that it does what it is supposed to do.
Spot on. You're brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Ezekiel, you want to add to that?
Yeah, from the accounting perspective, I would say software testing is like auditing in accounting. Like
Hmm.
after the accountant has prepared the ones that find the faults, that cross-check the whole stuff at the software testing.
Yeah, auditing. I like that. Auditing is a very key word there used. That's an accounting term. And you're correct. Thank you for a brilliant contribution, everybody. Raymond, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, you can hear me.
I can
Can
hear
you
you.
hear me?
Go on.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I believe software testing is the exercise that is carried on a software to make sure that um, it has the value that it's meant to give to users and meet certain standards that's user worthy and legality of meet certain legalities also of a given body.
Legality. Yeah, good. Standards. Can you hear the word legality? Standard. Prevent failure. Reduce risk of failure. Right? Those are the key words. Ensure that the software perform as intended. Some of you mentioned that. That's the process. There's a process for you to ensure that we do what? A couple of things that software testing ensures. One, prevent failure or reduce the occurrence of failure in an application. Software testing is also a process of making sure that our software behaves or perform as expected. It's also a process of making sure that our software meets requirements, right? We talk about standard. So somebody mentioned standard, right? Standard requirement. There's something you set out when you're building a software. There's some form of task or operation that you want a software to be able to perform before you build it, right? So software testing is not only a process of ensuring that we prevent defect or bugs or failure. It's also a process of ensuring that what we set out for this application to achieve or to perform the task, it does that. It meets that requirement. It meets that standard. That is what software testing is. Do we all understand? Do we all understand what software testing is, everybody?
Yeah.
Ezekiel, you have your hand up. It's important that you know this tip of your hand, your finger. When you wake up from sleep, you should know what software testing is. Ezekiel, do you want to say something about this?
So sorry, that was a mistake.
Oh, okay, cool. What is the software? What do we understand when we say software? It's important that you know what a software is. Anybody? Do we have software on our phones, on our laptop? Huh? I know Oluwapo, yeah? Come on,
So
guys.
I would say software is
Yeah.
software is an application with complex or different functionalities.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Absolutely.
most the applications that are built with using programming languages.
Yeah. You're correct. Absolutely. Software application. Software, a set of instructions, right, to perform a particular task. Do we agree? When we say software, a set of instructions to perform a particular task, do we agree? Does anybody want to debate? Ezekiel wants to debate.
Yeah,
Ezekiel, agree or disagree?
yeah. I'm not debating. I just want to add to it. No, no, I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
debating. I just want to add to it.
Yeah, add to it, add to
Yeah,
it.
so as he said already, a set of instructions that perform task. So I think it's a solution provider, like it solves problem.
Yeah.
Software is actually made to solve problem, to solve a particular
So
problem.
what type of software do we have? Can anybody mention types of software? One type of software that you know. Anybody? Type of software. Yeah? Ndim? What are the types of software you know?
In
Quite
software,
loud.
application and system software.
Absolutely. What are the types of application software?
Okay, is anybody?
Your Zoom,
Yeah.
your Teams, your WhatsApp. Yeah, your audio is a bit, I miss. I can hear you. I was asking what type of application software do you know?
Okay. Application software like your Microsoft. How will I say it? Like your Microsoft Excel, or which is an application
Yeah,
software.
yeah, absolutely. Accountant, you like all these numbers application, eh? Yeah, application software. We have Microsoft Excel, we have WhatsApp, we have Microsoft Teams. Which other one, guys? Who's the most popular one? Which other application software do you guys know?
Facebook.
Facebook, absolutely.
Discord,
Yeah. What? Which one?
Discord.
Discord. Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant.
We
So
have Slack.
we have Slack. Yeah. Instagram, WhatsApp,
We have Photoshop,
Microsoft
Corel,
Word, Figma. Yeah. CorelDRAW, Photoshop. And do they all do the same thing? All the applications software, do they do the same thing? Do they do the same thing?
No,
No,
no.
they
No.
perform the.
No.
So are they performing different instructions?
Yes, yes.
So when we say
Yes.
that software
Yes.
application, a set of instructions that, do you agree with that now?
Yeah.
Set of instructions that
Yes.
perform
They
different
solve
tasks.
different problems.
So do we all understand now why we say that? Because WhatsApp does something different from your Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word does something different from Discord. Discord does something different from Excel, right? So who Who built software? Who code software? Who develop software?
Software developers.
Software developers, application developers, software engineers, right? Then who test software? Who make sure that the bugs, that we reduce the bugs as much as possible?
Software testers.
And what are you guys?
Software tester.
A software tester, you see? Can you see the connection now? So let me ask,
Yes.
is there anybody that can do without software? Is there somebody in
No.
this class that can do without software?
Nothing.
No.
All right, what have we done with software today? Can somebody tell me what they do? Huh?
Yeah, using for the call.
Zoom call for Teams. This is Teams, Microsoft Teams. Yeah.
For Teams.
So you see, when we say that software system is a necessary part of human life, which includes but not limited to application software, is it a necessary part of human life? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
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 Absolutely. So we don't just want to make a statement, we want to discuss and validate. When we say software is a critical part of human life, it is. I cannot exist without software in this day and age, right? If I need to fly, there's a software powering my plane. On my phone, I need a software to book the flight. If I need to order for food, or I need to, just think about everything, to communicate, to work, to make money, I need software. To speak to family, right? It's important. It's a critical part of human life. And it's important for you to understand the different type of software we have. We've talked about the application software. That's very popular, right? We have system software. Do you know that there are software that powers your system, your laptop? Right? What are the type of software that powers your laptop?
Operating
Yeah?
system.
Operating system.
OS.
Operating system. OS is very critical to your system. That's not an application software. It's a system software. Do you understand? You know that your laptop have drivers, right? Drivers are also system software. Have you heard of, so all of you have laptop, have you heard of the word drivers before? Hardware, your sound driver, your keyboard driver. So every peripheral of your laptop has a driver, and it's a type of software. Yeah? So when we talk about system stuff software, we're talking about operating system, your drivers, your utilities. Yeah? So this last category, programming software. Can somebody tell me one programming software they know?
Python.
Python. Fantastic. Anyone else?
JavaScript.
Yeah.
C#.
So actually, those are programming languages, right? Python, C#, Java, those are programming language. But when we talk about programming software, like your
VS
IT,
Code.
Atom.
you
VS
say
Code.
what? VS Code, fantastic. Which other one?
Atom.
IntelliJ.
Atom,
IDF.
IntelliJ, Visual Basic, Visual Studio,
Epson.
yeah, NetBeans. Do you understand now? Those are application software. Do they have compilers? Do they have compilers?
Yeah, C compilers.
Absolutely. Those are type of application software. They have debuggers. Debuggers.
Yes,
Have you
yes,
heard of that?
yes, they have
Yeah.
debuggers.
So if I call you tomorrow to explain what software testing is, can we all explain in your own words? It doesn't have to be theoretical explanation. Do you understand the concept of software testing? Do we all
Yes,
understand? Is there anybody in this class that does not understand?
we understand.
Great. All right, so we will talk about this in more details. We have different test technique. We have the black box technique, we have the white box technique, we have the experience-based technique. We will not dwell on this too much now, but black box technique focus on testing functionality of the application or software without looking at the internal structure of the code. What this means is we just want to pick up our software, like our application software that we've built, and just play with it. Just test it without understanding the code, right? The internal structure of the code. But when we talk about the white box technique, just to explain this further, if I gave you an application like WhatsApp, will you be able to tell when something is not working as it should? Can you test it? Let's just use that word. If I gave you WhatsApp, we are all familiar with WhatsApp. We all know what WhatsApp is. Yeah? If I gave you WhatsApp, test WhatsApp, will you be able to test it? Will you be able to know if something is amiss, something is
Yes,
not working as it should? Yes, right?
yes,
Exactly. Do you know how the code was written?
no,
Exactly. That's what we are saying here. Black box technique is a technique that we use to test application. We don't need to know how the code was written, what language it was written in, the function and all of that. We just want to pick the application up and use our black box technique to test the application and report issues, bugs, defects, etc. But when we talk about white box technique, we are talking about you understanding the internal structure of the code. So you want to know things like statements, path coverage. Don't worry about it. This type of technique is more of the technique that developers use. So don't worry about this. It's just important to know it on a high level, right? Experience-based technique is the one we use based on our experience. For example, if I wanted to build a mobile bank application, right? And I have Udim Obi, who is an accountant, and I have someone else who does not really understand numbers a lot, right? Who will be the best tester? Without reading any documentation from experience, who will be best to test the application? Is it somebody that has experience or somebody that does not know a lot about that domain? What do you think?
I think it should be someone that has more experience.
Exactly. So there's a type of, technique we apply that has to do with your prior knowledge, your domain. That's why I said initially that all of you have one domain knowledge that will be useful, that you'll be able to transfer into this field and make you a very good tester, depending on what domain. But let's just put this on ice. You will learn more about all this technique in more detail. We have a whole chapter dedicated to that. So don't stress. Let's talk about the basic stuff for now. Right? So in 5 minutes, we'll just talk about some of the testing misconceptions that we have. Does anybody know what misconception mean?
Yes, misinterpretation or misrepresentation.
Yeah. Thank you, Moses. Spot on. Right? Things that people miss, they just assume, meet, things that are not exactly correct about testing. So many people say that testing is all about finding bugs. Do we believe this? Testing is all about finding bugs.
Before now, that's what I believe.
Moses, what did you say?
I said before now, that's what I believe it to be.
Okay, so what changed? What changed?
What changed now is that I've gone to know that something like black box, white box, and experience based. So that's what changed. That I just test the user experience and the functionality, but not the code.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worry, you learn more. You learn more. Thank you, to, Moses, for that. Who else wants to add to that? Leonard, say something now. Help your guy. Huh?
Hello?
Okay. Who was? Okay, I know Luako. You wanted to say something?
Okay, this is Ayomide. I'm off cam already. I'm having network issues, so I'm using a screen.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I don't think it's just about finding bugs because there are sometimes you are probably building the wrong app. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so there are sometimes that your requirements for the app might probably be wrong. Maybe you have a competitor that is doing better than you already. So it might be useful for you to modify your app to, maybe work better or do something unique per se. So that was what I wanted to say. Thank
you. They're lovely. Really interesting perspective there. Thank you for that. Somebody raised up there. Okay, Leonard?
Okay, yeah. So, sorry, I was struggling with my network. That's why I wasn't saying anything. So I'm actually following. So yeah, like everybody has said, testing doesn't just involve finding bugs. It also involves meeting some certain requirements depending on the organization you're working with. I mean, the testing requirement for a fintech company, if you're testing for a fintech company, will be different if you're testing for an edutech company, and it will be different if you're testing for a health tech. So the requirements will varies across board. So it's not just about bug findings, and I think meeting requirements, procedures, even regulations and rules, protocols, and the rest. So yeah,
absolutely. Thank you for that. Really in depth. Thank you. You guys have really done a great job. So this point, testing is definitely not all about finding bugs, right? Because there are a lot of aspects to testing, especially when we talk about quality assurance testing. So there's the part of, making sure that your application, what you're building, meets requirements, right? Because there's no point building something that does not make sense. Like some of you have said. Imagine if WhatsApp was allowing you to imagine if WhatsApp had calculator. Would that be useful? That's really interesting.
Not at all.
Not at all, right? Why?
It
Really
doesn't
curious to
meet
hear.
functionality.
It doesn't meet what?
its main functionality, which is to send instant messaging. So there is really no use for a calculator.
Exactly. Exactly. So sometimes it's not all about bugs, right? You also need to ensure that you're meeting the requirement. The application should be actually be meeting the requirement of your stakeholder. That's another important part of quality assurance. It's not just about finding bugs alone, because you can have a bug, you can't have a bug-free application, but you can have an application that does not have a lot of apparent bugs, but they don't meet requirement. They are not useful. The customer don't like the application because it's not doing what they are supposed to do. Just imagine you having a calculator on your WhatsApp. Maybe some people will use it, but it's not really what it's supposed to be doing. Its function is for communication. Do we agree? All right. The second point here, testing can guarantee bug-free software. Who wants to explain this? Testing can guarantee bug-free software. Who wants to try?
I think
Well,
there's no term as bug free. There will always be bug. As much time as you test the software, there will always be a bug. There's no assurance for 100% bug free software.
Absolutely, you're correct. Yeah. Leonard, do you want to add to that?
Yes, so it's like saying you are 100% guaranteed security wise. There's nothing like 100%. You just have to have some level of knowledge, awareness, and then try to mitigate and have some level of reduction. I don't think there's 100% free box, just some level of reduction.
You're spot on, Leonard. You're spot on. Moses?
Okay, my question is on this automated testing. From what I see automated testing can never replace a manual testing entirely. So what's apart from speeding up the process, the automated process? Okay, we'll get there. Okay, let me not
Get
be
there.
too fast.
Let's just finish with this. We'll get there. Yeah. Is that Ayomide or Anolu Akpo? Do you want to say something?
This is Ayomide.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so I think about the bug, it depends on the context. So will the bugs actually affect what you said your app will do, like the requirements you are putting out? So your testing won't always be 100%, bug free. But if you have like maybe 90% of your bug free, but the 10% that you're having actually the malfunction you are getting from those 10% bugs that you have makes your app not work as it is intended to. Maybe a particular requirement, that your end users want to get from using the app. If 1 out of 5 is, missing from those stuff, even though you have like 90% testing, like you have 90, you are sure 90% that okay, your program is bug free. That 10% that that 10% that has bugs would actually cost you a lot. Yeah, that does exist. It will cost you a lot because it's one of the main functions of your app. So that was what I wanted to add.
Yeah, good. You've added a new dimension. We will talk about this. But just to let you know, so the fact that I understand what you're saying. So imagine we had 100 bugs. We've identified 100 bugs for an application. And based on what you're saying, we fix 90%. That's 90. The remaining 10 can still cost you, right? You need to actually evaluate the severity and the priority of those remaining 10 bugs. But the fact that you've identified 100 bugs does not mean that there's no other bug in that application. The 100 bugs that you've identified just shows that, yeah, these are the bugs we found. There are still bugs, trust me. And that is why you see that even your laptop, they release updates. Why? There are bugs. Even your laptop, they release update, patches, all of that for you to update for security, for different purposes, right? So you can identify 100 bugs. Those are the bugs that you've identified. It doesn't mean that after these 100 bugs, there are no other bugs that exist in the application. And that is why we are saying that testing cannot guarantee you a bug-free application. It does not exist. There's nothing like a bug-free application. There's no perfect application. Even your Instagram, your Facebook, all these apps from big tech companies, they are not bug-free. They have issues. So going to Ayomide's point, when you have your bugs identified, there's also a concept of prioritizing. So we've identified bugs. We need to identify the severity. That means what is the impact of this bug, right? If we don't fix this bug, can we go live? Does it make sense for us to go live? Okay, I understand you're having another activity, so we need to stop here and continue thinking 2 hours. But before we go, Moses, do you have something to say?
Yes, mine is a question regarding bugs.
All right.
When an application or software is being rolled out after testing has been done, all bugs have been fixed. What now brings about bugs for a code that is clean already and users have been using it, all of a sudden bugs come out? Is it as a result of is it from the server end? Maybe the server or the GPU power is not enough to cater for the traffic. As the traffic increase, bugs are doomed to come up from nowhere. What brings about bugs? Just like, should we regard it as a normal sickness that happens to man? When you're well, tomorrow you just fall sick. Could that be the kind of sickness that happens to softwares? I want to know what causes bugs for a free code that is clean.
But there are a lot of things that causes bug. And Moses, you've not agreed that testing cannot guarantee bug free. There's nothing like clean code that there is no bug, right? By nature of software is not like a building that is rigid, that you can just build and, it just stays there, except even buildings, some natural event makes it collapse, right? For software, you make changes to software more frequently. Those things causes bug, right? Developer skill causes bug. Requirement changes causes bug. Different part of the application, their integration, the way they communicate, by nature, there are always defects, inherent defects there. And that is why it's up to us as testers to find those bugs using different testing techniques. And what we are saying is that testing does not guarantee you a bug-free application. It's not possible. But when you find bugs, no matter how many bugs you find, you need to now prioritize them and check their severity level. Is this a critical bug? Is this just a low bug that we can live with? So most applications out there, they will not go live or they will not be in operation if they find a critical bug, but they still happen. Going to your question, Moses, so many things causes bug. Changes causes bug, requirement causes bug, developer skill causes bug, environment causes bug. So developers develop on development environment, and you find out that when they deploy to production environment, there's a different configuration. The application will behave differently. You understand? That's why you can see some app that they develop, they tell you it can't support OS lower than 4 point something something. It has to be higher, because they know that different environment affect different behavior of application. So that also causes different bugs. So many things causes bug. We'll leave it here for now, and then we'll continue when you guys are back. Okay. China Gulam.
Yeah. Please, I want to ask, so does it mean that there is no tools that QAs can use to make sure that software does not have bugs? Or
Don't worry, very soon you have answer to that question. Let's go on break. We'll come back and discuss more on that. Right? So hold that thought.
okay,
Discuss. Yeah. All right. So I'll see you guys in 1.5 hours. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.